Chapter 8, Marketing with Pinterest. We're going to take a look at the values of Pinterest for marketing for businesses. We'll look at how to create and optimize Pinterest accounts, understand what goes into the components of making a pin, and look at Pinterest content strategies. So Pinterest is a visual pin board, or a cork board, if you will. It's a social sharing network where you can discover and save ideas about pretty much any topic, from design to recipes to DIY projects. Pretty much anything that's available as a web page can be pinned. So this includes images, videos, descriptions, as well as a link back to that source that you've pinned. So this Pinterest allows you to organize your content into different boards, so that same pin board idea, and boards can be shared and followed. So once you pin something to a board, other people that follow you can see that pin on their feed, and then they can save that pin to one of their boards. So it has kind of a networking and viral component to it. So Pinterest started in 2009 by three college buddies, Ben Soberman, Paul Ciara, and Evan Sharp. And they wanted to create a social networking site where people could show collections of things that they were interested in. So today Pinterest has more than 335 million users every month with over 175 billion pins. So the challenges that they ran into were that after coding different website options and testing a lot of different variations, Pinterest was launched in March of 2010, and their growth was actually pretty slow, with only a few thousand users during the first months that they were launched. But by 2011, that platform grew to be one of the top 10 largest social networking sites. So we'll take a look at how Pinterest makes money, because that's kind of a key component to having a large social networking site, is to keep that thing running.
With Fundrise, the same kind of real estate investments that have powered the world's strong
Public. At IPO, it was valued at $10 billion. So what is Pinterest, and how does it make money?
Pinterest was started in 2010, and it's the creation of Ben Silverman and Evan Sharp, who are ex-Google, ex-Facebook techies. What they created is a social app that lets folks bookmark images that they find around the internet.
Pinterest is an online social network where users can bookmark images they find online by pinning them to their boards, which can range from recipes to weddings to home remodeling. Then users can share their boards with friends or all Pinterest users. Users find new ideas by following friends, influencers, and brands, or simply by searching Pinterest's large user base.
Pinterest has 265 million monthly users, and it's a group of users that is mostly women. So it's not a very diverse group, but it is pretty favorable for advertisers who are trying to reach consumers who are going to, spend money.
Pinterest makes money from all those users in one simple way: advertising.
Like most consumer-facing tech companies, Pinterest makes money from advertisements. So its real challenge in this space is competing against Facebook and Google, which basically control the digital advertising market.
Pinterest sells promoted pins to advertisers, making $3 per user last year. Advertisers pay for an ad to surface in their desired audience's home feed or at the top of search results. These promoted pins appear in a variety of formats: a standard still image pin, small or large video, a promoted app, or an image slideshow. Pinterest also has hundreds of retail partners like Ulta Beauty, Lowe's, and Wayfair. Shopping ads invite users to click to buy and can appear in users' feeds when they're in one of those partners' stores.
For the most part, Pinterest users go on the app when they're planning some big sort of event. So maybe they're doing a house renovation, they're planning their wedding, they're going on a big trip. That's when they turn to use the app. So it's not the kind of app that you open on a daily basis. However, when you are using it, it's because you're probably very likely to spend money.
Pinterest's value at IPO is down from its last private valuation of $12 billion 2 years ago.
For 2018, Pinterest made about $756 million in revenue, which is pretty good. It's almost at $1 billion, and they've shown really good growth. However, in 2015, there were projections that came out that had them making about $2.8 billion in this past year. So they are making money, however, they haven't reached the potential that some folks thought it had.
Pinterest took off with rapid growth in 2012, but expansion has tapered off, largely because of what employees told CNBC is a work culture that's slow when it comes to making decisions.
I spoke with 20 former Pinterest employees, and they described to me the culture. It's one where folks are very nice to each other, so it's a very cool place to work. However, things get done very slowly. One former person told me that it's done at a glacial pace, and that's because rather than giving folks direct feedback, they're essentially just doing meeting after meeting to just get everyone to buy in on a project before they move forward with it.
Pinterest is part of a big wave of tech companies expected to go public this year. It's listed as PINS on the New York Stock Exchange.
The thing to take away with Pinterest is that although the company isn't growing users or revenue at the fastest pace, they aren't running into scandal. They are very deliberate about everything that they do, and once they commit to it, they go full force.
All right. So interesting to see the business model here, advertising revenue. So the split in demographics, like the video just showed, definitely skewed more towards female users, and in the kind of middle age range, 30 to 49. Again, this is a place where people are looking for ideas on what to buy and where to spend their money. So this is definitely a rich target market to try and target. And you'll see here a very different view to some of the social media we've already looked at, where the highest income range and the highest education ranges are 75,000 and up, and college plus education. So very different than what we've seen with something like Snapchat. So Pinterest users, they are doing things. They're making things. They're looking for ideas. So 93% of users on Pinterest plan to make a purchase. 67% have discovered new brands, and 87% have actually purchased. So some pretty high confident numbers there. And of the users, they spend 45% more on gifts, 30% more on fashion, and 27% more on home decor, and 5% more on groceries than those people that don't use Pinterest. So today's brands that use Pinterest to inspire people and make them want to act. So brands help pinners by inspiring them to try out new recipes, travel, decorate their homes, stay up to date on fashion, and try out new products. So today brands can capitalize on the popularity of Pinterest as users discover a brand through sharing of inspired pins. And brands can also leverage interest to create more web traffic. And since every day Pinterest drives millions of visits to other websites through its referral traffic. So we'll take a look at this video here. So, if you weren't excited about Pinterest, maybe that will help. Alright, so the components of Pinterest. We have a home feed, we have pins, and then we have boards. So the home feed shows you the pins that are saved by people that you follow on Pinterest, as well as the topics of the boards you follow. Pinterest is also going to show you pins in the home feed inspired by other users' boards or your recent activity. So each pin includes an image or a video, a description, and a link back to some online source. You can also add text overlays or include logos on the images. When users click on pins, they can save, comment, share, and add photos to the pin, or they can click on the call to action URL and find out more information about the photo or video. Pins can be added from websites using a browser extension for Pinterest. So that's something that a user can choose to download, and just makes it faster for them to pin items versus having to be logged into Pinterest and copying and pasting URLs. Every pin lives on a board, and these are created by users. So this is a way to cluster related ideas or concepts, and you can sort boards by category, interests, or topics. So there are things called rich pins. So these are beyond just a regular pin. A rich pin allows a brand to include more product information on the pin. So there's product pins that allow the inclusion of pricing. There's recipe pins that allows for ingredients, cooking time, serving sizes. Article pins that include a headline, author, story description, and allows a pinner to share and save stories. And then there's app pins. So this allows you to present and install button, so a pinner can download an app without leaving Pinterest. We also have carousel pins. So this is a pin with multiple images, so you have that slideshow capability there, and allows you to advertise multiple products at once or tell a story in chapters or different scenes. There's clickable or buyable pins that allows you to purchase products without leaving Pinterest. And then there's the shop the look pins, which are set up to allow pinners to find and buy products inside fashion and home decor pins that have been made. So we'll take a look at some of these rich pin examples here.
Go up through the middle just like this, and then pull it.
I got it.
You can do camping right near the river or the mountainside.
The mountains.
Oh, look at this.
What are those?
Sleeping bags.
I like that one.
Like the color?
Yeah.
We're gonna bring all this to the car, alright? Here, take this. Get your seatbelts on. Ready to roll?
That's a great example of a shop the look, or actually probably a buyable pin there. So setting up a business account, you need to start with a brand email. And then you can set up a password, business name, website, and pick the category that your business fits into. And once you complete your profile, you can add a photo. So same guidelines and strategies we've seen on other social media, and also an about section, which is going to include the location of your business. So next, a brand would create Pinterest boards. So these boards should make sense for the target audience, not just for the business. So these might be a little more broad as far as the topics go. And they should really think about what the target audience might be looking for and organize these boards in the way that they might search. So some tips for being successful. We want to make sure we're including keywords in the titles of each board. Don't be afraid to let your personality come through. Come up with some creative and interesting board names. Make sure you're entering a description for each board and use clear language to convey what the brand is going to pin in that particular board. Business accounts are great for brands since they can come with extra features like the rich pins we saw, as well as analytics and the ability to create ads. So Tensile is one of these businesses that we can take a look at on Pinterest. You can see they have a description, they're using some hashtags, and then in this specific board they have 29 pins, 788 followers, and they're promoting a wide variety. They're promoting sale content as well as kind of the look and feel for the user experience. Once boards have been made, you can add relevant pins to your categories, and the easiest way to do this is to use a browser plugin. It's going to be much faster for you to go to your company website and navigate to different pages and then click on the pin icon from the browser, which should pick up the browser URL, and then you can also add additional content, additional photos, and then choose the most visually appealing pin to serve as that board pin cover. So here we'll take a look at the Red Bull Pinterest page. So they've done a really good job organizing boards in specific extreme sports groupings. So biking, fitness and health, lifestyle and travel, as well as some inspirational quotes. So we'll take a look at their page here. So here we can see Red Bull. So they have a @ handle as well. So pinterest.com/redbull. They're using their slogan as a hashtag. They have about 46,000 followers and about 10 million monthly views. So these are all pins they have created. And they also have a series of pins that they have saved. So we can see they have 1,600 pins, most recently 3 days ago. And you can see they actually have a few additional categories: drinks, DIY hacks, and how-to. So if we take a look at the bike pin board, you can see they have a short description here, specific number of followers, and then a whole bunch of pins that cover all the bicycle themed content. So some of these are blog style articles, so how-tos, lists in articles, so 9 locations, 5 tips, and pretty much everything has a picture of either a sponsored athlete or just more of that experience in the photos. So as far as the algorithm goes for Pinterest, it's based on the quality of the pin, the quality of the source behind the pin, so the quality of the website, blog, and a rating assigned by Pinterest to each pin. So the quality of your pin is going to rank higher in the home feed. So high quality pins are based on the amount of interactions or the number of repins. Source quality is determined by how often people pin content from your website or your blog. So it's important that brands add the save button to their company websites, and each pin should link to a reputable website. So the source should match the content that you're expecting someone to click on. And then finally, the Pinterest rating. This is based on different criteria from Pinterest Smart Feed Generator. This decides the quantity, composition, and arrangement of pins to place on the home feed. So the best content's going to get served first. It's not chronological from the time it was pinned. And the best pins are those with high quality images and good descriptions. So as far as pinning content, we want to be consistent and post at optimal times. So between 5 and 30 pins a day, if you're able to manage that volume. And the best days and times are Saturday afternoons and Saturday evenings. Top subjects, which is interesting to see content by day having an impact. So fitness on Monday, gadgets Tuesday, funny stuff on Fridays, travel Saturdays, and food and crafts on Sunday. So generally the weekends are the best time for pinning content. Saturday is the best day of the week. Between 2 and 4 and 8 p.m. and 1 a.m. are generally the best times to pin. So consistency is also important, so we want to spread out the pins, and we don't want to pin everything all at the same time. So take a look at the high quality images here. Pinterest is a visual platform, so you really should only pin high quality images. So looking at the example of the two red dresses here, which one would you more likely pin, or which one would you buy? I would guess it would be the image on the right. So next, take a look at Pinterest descriptions or pin descriptions. So this is going to help the user determine what this picture is about, what the pin is about. And the description stays with the image as it gets repinned. So when you use a description, make sure it conveys the benefits and the value of the product without overdoing it, without too much text. Use keywords in the description so that pinners can find other pins. Add prices if possible. And when you share others' pins, pinners have the ability to edit and add their own description. So if the descriptions aren't optimized for a brand's target audience, make sure that you change the description before you repin. So take a look at these two pins. We have Tensile on the left, and then we have Yanko Designs. In the first pin, let's see, Yanko does a good job of conveying the benefits of the tent tree in a fun and informative manner, while the second pin from Hammock Town, which is not Tensile, but they're talking about the Tensile product. Hammock Town gives away too much context, so a lot of text, way too much to read. It almost looks like they just copy and pasted the product page directly from the Tensile website. There's dimensions and specs and way too much detail. So we want to entice people to click through to the website to learn more. We don't want to just give it all away at once. And as we've seen with other platforms, less text is usually better. So hashtags are possible here on Pinterest. Helps with discovery. Clicking on a hashtag is going to let you see every other pin that's used that hashtag. So you definitely want to do some hashtag research and make sure you're associating your content with the right sort of pins. And you want to use industry and branded hashtags for every pin for greater reach. So you can see LL Bean here uses this Bean Outsider for most of their content. And they'll use these same hashtags for other platforms like Facebook and Instagram. So repinning content, part of what Pinterest is about is connecting and engaging with your audience and sharing content with those audiences so that they get to see what they are interested in. It's not really about pushing a brand and your services. So most brand content should be repinned from other sources. So a good rule of thumb here is for every one brand related pin, you should share at least 5 pins of content from other sources. So it's that 1 to 5 ratio. So if we take a look at Whole Foods Market, they do a good job of repinning recipes to share with followers, and their Pinterest account features nearly 50 different recipe boards, everywhere from holiday themes to gluten-free or vegan and paleo recipes. So another popular aspect to pins is user-generated content. So you can see here Stitch Fix created a board to showcase how their fans were wearing and pairing their favorite outfits. So they share real pictures of customers wearing the clothing, not only to showcase the products, but also to encourage people to do the same and make the same requests from their personal stylists on Stitch Fix. So next, as a brand, you definitely want to take advantage of rich pins for recipes, products, and apps. So this is going to allow you to provide more information for a regular pin. So you can see here How Sweet Eats is a blog where pinners are allowed to see everything that they need to create the recipes, so they don't have to leave the page. So a great method for increasing your followers and increasing brand awareness and engagement is contests. So one method for creating contests is to have users create their own pin boards showing what they love about the brand, and Pinterest users can upload their own pictures to the boards and feature the brand products. So we take a look here at Sherwin-Williams. They created a home makeover contest to celebrate the launch of some new art styling services. They partnered with a company called Minted to offer one winner $1,000 in prizes for redecorating their home. So all somebody has to do to enter was to pick one of the rooms in their homes and redecorate it and build design mood boards on Pinterest. Actually, I take that back. They didn't have to redecorate it. The room that they want to redecorate and create a mood board showing how they want to treat that room. Another great type of content is tutorials. People are looking for how to do things, specifically in beauty, fashion, and crafting. So creating brand tutorials to provide customers with information on how to use a product or service. Do this with video, images, create infographics or step-by-step instructions as part of your tutorial presentation. Adding the save button to your website. Beyond the browser extension, this is also a great way to help the user add to their Pinterest board. So you see it here along the bottom edge of this recipe example: print, pin, share. So all recipes is the example here, and they added the save button to their website. They had over 50,000 recipes saved and over 130 million impressions by adding that. So take those numbers with a grain of salt, no pun there, but All Recipes is a pretty large volume recipe site, so they have a great user base that is dedicated, so you can definitely see how they would earn that sort of impression count. Ads on Pinterest. These are a great way for a brand to reach more people, drive more traffic, and increase sales. There's a lot of different formats, including promoted pins, promoted video, one-tap pins, promoted app pins. So very similar to the rich pins, but on a promoted basis. So we'll take a look at business and Pinterest video here. So Pinterest is definitely a trend-setting destination. So you'll see a lot of what the styles or trends happen to be for the coming months and year. So in 2021, we can see trends, and then we can also take a look at their content related to advertising, different industries, and you can see what they predict coming up. So you can see over the months they've had some different content that they've promoted. So take a look at the trends real quick. So fashion, beauty, travel, food and beverage, home, well-being and health, parenting trends, hobbies and interests, financing, food and beverage. So lots of big, broad categories to check out here. So next we're going to take a look at Caribou Coffee. They're the second largest specialty coffee store in the United States, and they use Pinterest to inspire customers by sharing photos, quotes, coffee drinks, and pins from other boards. So we'll take a look at them here. See if we can find their brand here. So taking a look at their board, this is all pins that have been created, but here's their saved pins. So they have only 4 boards. All pins, the Bold North, Hometown Pride, Minnesota, and Life Is quotes. So you can see their pins are pretty broad, mix of product and travel and destination plus quotes, and lots of user-generated content. Another example here is a Brazilian company for cosmetics, and Natura Makeup wanted to increase its traffic to its website from social media, so they chose to use Pinterest. So finally, take a look at Pinterest COVID-19 response strategy here. So Pinterest launched the Today tab, which allows you to find inspiration and explore popular pins. This tab also featured information from World Health and Center for Disease Control, and they found an increase in searches tied to stress relief and quotes about stress relief. So they rolled out what they called a compassionate search. So when the users search for these similar terms, they would see a collection of well-being exercises and activities from health experts to help cope with feelings of stress, sadness, or pain. So this is one of your 2-week assignments here, to take a look at wellbeing.pinterest.com. And there are a series of kind of a mix, meditative or just kind of thought-provoking activities here. So if you're feeling stressed out, check some of these out, see how they work, and take a look at the assignment where you're going to try 2 or 3 of these out and report your findings. So the future for Pinterest, Pinterest wants to own visual search. So Taking a look at image search on Google, you can definitely see some major differences here. Overall, I think a better looking page or design, primarily because Pinterest can just focus on the image-based search. And they're looking to move people from being inspired to taking action. So they're trying to change how people search. They're looking at search ads for targeting different Pinterest searches. So as you search on Pinterest, you may get related content that's sponsored. And they really are trying to push users to pull the trigger and buy versus just thinking about buying product. So for businesses that operate in the B2C space, business to consumer, Pinterest is an important tool to help increase brand awareness and promote your products. And if you're not using Pinterest today, you definitely want to pay attention to adding that to your social media strategy in the future.